First time for me here in Graz, and it's really exciting to be here with this exciting audience and with this exciting community that you've been building up. I will not do the intro today because I have a co-host for the beginning, Alexander Ulz from the Creator Expeditions team. Welcome, and big round of applause for you. Alexander, tell us, what can you expect today? Super exciting day. We first have our launch, and then it's also the demo day. On this day, what can we expect?
Yeah, first of all, hello everybody. Hi Dejan. Hi people in the room here and those watching this online then. What we can expect is a glimpse into the future. And the glimpse into the future is already happening now. So that's the nice thing about it. It's the first creators launch that we're doing here in Graz at our headquarters. And there's a certain meaning to that. I think AVL is celebrating 75 years this year. So we 75 years of innovation, automotive innovation. And that's the hotspot. It's our beating heart, the headquarters, although we're a global company. And it's good that we're here, because here today we see the history of this 75 years of automotive innovation melting with the glimpse into the future of innovation in automotive and beyond. And there couldn't be any better place than doing this here. So what we're gonna see and what we're gonna have here today is a really nice lineup of speakers. We're gonna have a keynote from Arlena from Polestar. We're gonna have a very nice panel discussion with Arlena, with Qiong from TE Connectivity, and with Andrea Leitner. And we have startups here. We have our project managers here in the audience today. And I mean, a Creators Expedition is all about collaboration for innovation, and that's what the day is about. Shifting boundaries, collaborating for innovating, and all about the glimpse into the future.
And you've been really pushing this in Austria and internationally massively, and it's really mind-blowing what you have achieved as Creators Expedition. I can tell you this honestly, as a broadcasting founder, and keep doing that, because we will hear it on the panel later on. It's all about collaboration, sustainability, and innovation. You cannot really divide anymore. Those two elements fit together and do not exist actually without each other anymore. And this is what it's all about. And you're building the platform with your Creators Expedition and Creators Lounge to collaborate, to meet each other, to do projects together, to seriously tackle the issues of the future. And obviously, thank you for that, because we need all of that. We need the power, we need the collaboration to drive the world further. Thank you very much, Alexander, and big round of applause.
Thank you.
As you mentioned, Arlena Amiri is already remotely, head of advanced engineering at Polestar. And she will have a keynote for us now before we move on to panel. Arlena, moving to you. Thank you for being with us. This is your stage for the keynote.
Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to be here today and just want to say thank you for having me. It is really an honor to be here presenting at AVL and the Creators Lounge. The agenda for my presentation today is an introduction with Polestar, introduction for me, and then the department that I'm currently working at, Advanced Engineering, and the biggest project we have within AE, which is the Polestar Zero project. So Polestar as a brand is an electric car brand, utilizing design and innovation to accelerate the shift to a fully electric and climate neutral future. As mentioned, I work as head of Advanced Engineering at Polestar, and I also have the head of Polestar Zero operation title. And Polestar Zero, as mentioned previously, is the biggest advanced engineering activity we currently run. My name is Arlena Amiri. So the Advanced Engineering Department and my team, we have set a clear vision to be the guiding star and catalyst driving the technology of tomorrow. To be able to achieve this vision and stay world leading, there are a few things that we have set for us to succeed. And today, I will take a different approach with you. Instead of sharing success stories, I want to address the most common pitfalls when working with innovation. So 3 most common pitfalls I think are interesting to address in the forum today. The first one, lack of structure, or creating structures that define innovation to only one team or one department. The second, the not invented here mentality. And the third, building competence in silos. So let's go ahead with the first. Lack of structure, or creating structures that are defining innovation only to one team or one department. It is always important to go back. What is the reason for structure? Structure is there to create clarity. Make sure that the organization understands the what. What are the focus areas when it comes to innovation? What is our core values? Where do we want to come? What do we want to achieve with our company and our products? What is the customer value? The second is where. Where does our employees go with their ideas? Is that clear? And the third thing is when. How often do you have intake meetings? It is like going to the gym. Once and done is not a methodology. And it's important to remember that we as an organization get good at what we practice. The second is to have a clear and simple process. At Polestar, we have an intake every Monday, every week, reoccurring, because we get good at what we practice. All ideas go through that intake process. We support with the framing. To be able to do a good assessment, we need to secure that everyone understands what are the rules. And then, if you have your project approved, it should be simple. You go to running, and it is looping, iterations. And when you are done with your proving a hypothesis, or when you're done with your proof of concept, you come back for a decision. Simple, clear, and inclusive. The third is to have a playbook. How do you as a company secure that it is the best ideas and not the best pitch that wins? How do you as a company secure that we co-create? It is not a Shark Tank event where we judge each other's ideas. It should be a platform where we support each other to build the ideas. And always remember, impact and engagement should always go before titles. You invest in the people, not only in the idea. The second pitfall that I think is important to address today is the not invented here mentality, which is quite common in our industries. To secure that we don't end up in a not invented here mentality, it is important to build an organization that is inclusive. And even though a department needs to have arms and legs, the direct reports, it is important to stay flexible. Keep the development flexible by making sure that you have the dotted line in your community. With dotted line, I mean having the engagement from the various disciplines, fully dedicated to work with advanced engineering and innovation, but still representing the different technical fields. A center of activity is the second. How do you secure that your innovation department, advanced engineering department, or business department really is the hub for co-creation that is giving birth to the ideas? And as good as the department needs to be to make ideas flourish and scale fast, it needs to be at failing fast also. The third important topic in this category is to stay relevant. When you have a dotted line set up, you have also direct access to the technical roadmaps within the different disciplines, securing that you will always stay relevant, sharp, and have correct focus. But the 80 rule needs to be complemented with the 20%, which is the wild cards. Do you secure that you have the resources available for the new technologies that are not on your radar? The market is dynamic. And to be able to follow that, you need to secure that you have a budget and resources that are ready for that flexibility. The third important topic to raise is the risk of building competence in silos. Many refer to this as the team A and team B, the team A that gets to explore the new technologies and do the fun thing, while the team B is the Monday to Friday product engineering. With the dotted line set up, you will also secure that the organization is scouting for the new technologies, that the organization competence is built for the new big thing to come. And the only way to avoid working and building competence in silos is by continuously working on the diversity and inclusion. So with the dotted line, we will get the diversity, but to get inclusion in place, you need to secure that you have a culture where innovation can thrive, where respect and curiosity is something that we build continuously. The second thing is structure. So the dotted line setup, as we said, will enable for teams to collaborate cross-functionally. But it is again important to secure that you have a structure where competence sharing is part of the process. At Polestar, we have something called the Spotlight meeting, where we secure that we share not only our wins, but also our learnings, and that we grow together as a company. The third is to be open. Innovation should never belong to one team or one department, as we said earlier. So it is important to secure that we know how to walk the talk when it comes to diversity, inclusion, and innovation. I mentioned earlier Polestar Zero project being the biggest advanced engineering project we run at Polestar. The Polestar Zero project is basically our moonshot goal. When we released the LCA report for our first fully electric vehicle, the Polestar 2, we could early see the great impact EVs have in the world today. With wind power as charging, we get 27 tons compared to 58 for the Volvo XC40 ICE. I earlier said that the Polestar as a company has a clear ambition to accelerate the change to a full electric and climate neutral future. To reach climate neutrality, the 27 ton need to go down to zero. The scope for the Polestar Zero project is quite clear. We say from cradle to grave, except the usage phase. The usage phase, due to that we can't really force our customers to charge with renewable energy. But with projects in the AE portfolio, such as Vehicle to Grid, we can at least try to enable renewable energy for the customers to choose. So the cradle to grave then, from raw material extraction, material manufacturing, product manufacturing, and end of life. And it is important to highlight that end of life is also included in the scope. And the reasoning is that we don't want to create a Frankenstein's monster, a product that can't be recycled end of life. Polestar as a company, as mentioned earlier, was a pioneer when it comes to transparency. We were the first car brand to be transparent with our footprint for the Polestar 2. This LCA report is also our baseline when starting up the Polestar Zero project. We went from 27 ton to now a model year upgrade with coming down to 21 ton. And the 21 ton needs to go down to zero. With the LCA report, we can use this tool to see where are the greatest challenges and opportunities, what research within which material categories is important for us to lead. And when you have zero as a target, it's quite simple. The target is clear. With the zero, you know that every emission, no matter the size, is required to be eliminated. So from a prioritization point of view, it is quite clear. The company was also humble from start, understanding that this terrain has never been walked on before. As a company, we understood early that collaboration would be the key. We needed to share our insights, knowledge and competence with other industry leaders within material science. In the project, we have 3 phases: product development, applied science, and research. When identifying emissions, together with our partners in their production line, we do an assessment. How difficult is this emission to eliminate? Where 1 is easy, product development. 2, quite difficult, applied science. Testing and trials will be needed. And 3 is where research will be required. There are no solutions out there today. The phase that we are currently in today is the research phase. So from now until 2025, we are in an intense research phase together with our partners, with a clear ambition to eliminate all the emissions that have been identified. From 25 to 27, that's where we will welcome the design department and other colleagues to join the applied science phase. In the third phase, from 27 to 30, that is where production and product development will be kicked off. Thank you for listening in to me, and I hope that you will follow the Polestar Zero journey and that you will join us when coming to eliminating emissions to be able to reach a climate neutral future together. Thank you.
Thank you, Arlena. Great keynote, great intro into our following panel. Please stay with us. You will be remotely with us in the next panel as well. And I called it Navigating the Future of Mobility. Collaborative innovation and sustainable transformation are the key here, the 3 words that we will be elaborating and discussing about with 3 fantastic speakers. Arlena is already with us. Then the next one, Qiong Sun, the Vice President and General Manager E-Mobility at TE Connectivity. Big round of applause. Please join me on stage. Great to have you with us. And Andrea Leitner, Global Business Segment Manager, ADAS and AD at AVL. Big round of applause. Great to have you here. I'd like to pick up with the last point that we heard, and the question is the future of the mobility, or to which extent is the future of mobility connected to sustainability? What is your take on that?
Thanks for Arlena, kind of give us the perspective of, from EV OEM perspective on the innovation, sustainability. I definitely see, this is really the very exciting moment for the mobility, and with the sustainability is the goal that we're trying to achieve. And how to achieve it is certainly that require collaboration from all the value chain, from the raw material, through the product development and producing the product, transportation of the product, and the user, right? In the end, how you recycle it and go back to, reproducing those. And this cradle to grave, this approach is absolutely, that necessary for us. And this is something, as any of the citizens, as a society, we are really looking to achieve that. And then how to achieve it is really through innovation, through people like you who are bringing those innovative solutions, and also through the collaboration that, as I said.
Could you give us some insights on how do you do that in your company? How do you produce your product? How do you use the value chain to optimize sustainability processes? Do you have any best practices from your daily business?
Yeah, very much. That's actually our company, TE Connectivity. Our goal is, our vision actually said it's to be, create a safer, sustainable, and connected and productive future. And this is actually through what we do every day. And we collaborate with the, not only the OEMs as like Volvo and any of Tesla, you name it. I would say every OEMs in the different regions. And we work with them and how to reach the goal together. And also we work with the supply chain, coming from the raw material. Like we have a sustainability partner, BASF. And what we do is we use because our product use like a lot of resin. And we use the biomass material. And these are the ones that are not only environmentally friendly, but also they can be actually without any revalidation, you can replace current the material. And we also using the material that it can be mechanically, chemically, recycle and which is more environmentally friendly. So these are type of the collaboration we work with them, and to reach like our plan is by 2030 reduce scope 1 and scope 2 greenhouse gas emission by 70%, and that is any like a plant or any facility that we own and control, and also by 25% of greenhouse gas emission, reduction from any facility that's our supply use. So these are the activities we have.
Andrea, AVL has been innovating, AVL has been collaborating. Do you think that going forward, the sustainability will inevitably be the part of innovation, the part of collaboration, also in the automotive, also for AVL?
So collaboration, innovation is really important for AVL, especially in this new business field. So for AVL's AT, we think without collaboration, we cannot succeed, because it's such a complex topic. It's new. There are a lot of new challenges for us, but also for our customers. So there is collaboration on different levels, which is necessary, I think, to really make this a success. We see internally we need to collaborate a lot more than it's sometimes difficult in the starting phase to find the right people to collaborate with. And you also need this mentality, as Arlena mentioned in her keynote. So you need to break up the boundaries in your company to have this collaboration, to foster innovation. This is one thing. So within AVL, I think we have the lucky situation that we have the engineering part and the tooling part. So we can work together. We can learn from the experiences from engineering, bring this into our tooling. So we have our internal customer basically. But of course, for us, it's also really important to collaborate with our customers a lot, because we need to come up with certain solutions together. Also for them, it's a quite new field. So we need to identify their really challenging issues and problems and try to come up with solutions together. So therefore, for really doing innovation in this field, you need to have a lot of collaboration with customers, with partners, but also internally, I think.
When I'm at such events or at Creators Lounge, I always am super excited to hear all these things. And then I go back home and there's a different reality. So does it go fast enough? Are we just a bubble who thinks that we should do this, what we should be doing? Are we doing it? Are we doing it fast enough?
I would say it's definitely happening, in my company. And our product design, how to actually reduce the size of the product, the weight, and, collaborating with the material company like a BASF and come up with a solution. And I will give you an example that one of the latest next generation product that we're producing, we are reducing 56% of the greenhouse gas emission for that product. So this, even though sometimes there is a cost increase, and usually what we're trying to design is design to not only requirements, the cost, but also the sustainability. It become one of the enabler for how you can actually gain the new business with your customer. So, and even with sometimes the cost increase, we also manage how to spread it out. As I mentioned about this biomass material, right? And you don't need to revalidate. So it saves the time, because agility is very important, how you get to the market fast enough. And that's also, we split it into the cost from the OEM and the supplier. and us as well, but we demonstrate the value that they give it to the OEM. Usually they get a tax credit as well. And so that's how, we manage it. And the other thing, I always say, used to be when you decided your supplier based on purely the cost, the performance. Today, the sustainability is already become a dimension for any business decision maker. And the CO2 is actually a currency. Just look at the airplane. You go buy a ticket, right? You can actually purchase, greenhouse gas emission reduction by your frequent flyer miles or pay for it. So it's happening everywhere.
Arlena, you mentioned the super ambitious, exciting goal that you have at Polestar. And obviously, I assume you will not be able to reach that alone without collaborating with your value chain, with your suppliers. How can you positively infect them with your goal? How can you commit them, have them committed to support you in achieving this goal? How can you pursue your suppliers that could be a mutual goal? Could you give us some insights on that? Because I think it will not work without the whole ecosystem working with you together.
Yeah, that is correct. First, do you hear me well?
Yes.
Yes. So the first distinction that is important to mention is that in Polestar 0 we don't have any suppliers, because suppliers means that you want to buy something from someone, which is not the case for Polestar 0. We call them partners because it is a collaboration and there is a common interest to find solutions that will eliminate the situation that we are in currently, the climate crisis. And as you say, is it part of our day-to-day? It is. Majority of us have already experienced the climate change and shifts in climate that is happening. And all reports are quite clear when it comes to the climate crisis we are in. And it is important for us from an engineering science point of view to take action. And that is, I think, the trigger for our partners to join this ambitious target.
So we're today in Graz at AVL headquarters. And afterwards, after this talk and after Creators Lounge, there will be a demo day with many startups. And I see some startups here in the room and it reads, collaborate to innovate. So I'd like to talk to you with speakers on the panel about different methods, how to collaborate and who do you collaborate with? Do you collaborate with startups? You said internal collaboration, picking up people that maybe live in their silos, cross-industry collaboration, even collaboration with the competitors. So give us some insights. Where does this collaboration happen and where it should happen in the future in order to tackle the problems that we have, or in order even to remain compatible as a business?
I can try to give some examples. I guess collaboration is everywhere. You need it on different levels, and we have different examples. So, for example, in research, in European funded research projects, I made the experience that we had really cross-industry collaboration. So I was working in a research project where we partnered with aerospace, maritime, rail, even healthcare, to identify common challenges that we have and share our experiences in different areas. So this was really helpful for us to all see what are the experiences from other industries, what can we learn from them. And I think also for the others, it was really important to do that. So really things where you thought, okay, we have nothing in common, like healthcare domain, we saw that actually some of the challenges are actually the same. So they were investigating the path of doctors in a surgery room. It was kind of the same thing as we tried to extract traffic scenarios, basically. So it's very similar challenges, which was really fun to share this kind of thing. So we never thought that this would be helpful for us. But at the end, we could learn from each other, kind of. So things where you never think that collaboration makes sense. So this was one of the examples which was really interesting for us to see.
Do you collaborate, or is it imaginable to collaborate with your competitors as well?
Sure. We actually do a lot of standardization activities where we also try to work together with our competitors, because we think to be really innovative, you need to be, at a certain point, you need to be able to share certain things. So everyone needs to have his added value, everyone needs to have its position, but at some point, you need to collaborate to be faster. So even with our competitors, we try to collaborate.
Qiong, you've been in automotive for a very long time, and we discussed over coffee this morning your experiences in cross-industry collaboration with aerospace, for example. What can automotive learn from aerospace, or what did it learn in the past, and which new industries do we have to learn from in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking about, 28 years ago when I first working on the ADAS, a lot of, software system related to ensure the safety, right? And automotive, being very mechanically driven vehicles, you don't need a lot of safety like the aerospace does. But there was a lot of, collaboration in terms of how to introduce those safety integrity level from the aerospace into the automotive industry. Today, when we look at the level A, B, C, D, it came from, aerospace level 1 to 4. And even though we don't need to get a 4 all the way because, the hazard probability is much, different for the land vehicles. So those are the collaboration, happening, the engineering, community and how the process work to developing those safety. But today, what I look at working in the electrification for, almost the past 20 years, and what I see is, the industry is really changing. The players is no longer the traditional, vehicle companies. We see, battery company, we see power electronics, semiconductor, and those are the partnership collaboration that I've seen, and that they actually really introduce a lot of new things. And also from the software, because nowadays software-defined vehicle is really become, the future, right? And it's not just a hardware device to transport you from point A to point B. It's really about what are the service, what are the features, that it can provide to you. Those are a lot of those we're learning from, the consumer electronics industry. And these are the collaboration. It's happening everywhere. And there are a lot of players coming, they are so innovative. And so that's one thing I want to touch. And the second part is even, my company last year, a year ago, we also hosted open innovation startup challenges. And we reached out, to actually 20 different countries, and 80 of the startup company apply for it. And we end up, had a committee, evaluate and really looking for what it fit for us. The topic is about the power with the electrification. And specifically for us is related to connectivity, switching sense and the protect the electrical vehicles. And so with that event, after the committee, 16 people decided, 6 of the finalists, and we spent one day and internally having those people present and the final and select one project and moving forward. So these are the collaboration we have also with the startup company as well. And I definitely see, so many great ideas because the people are not like a corporate thinking, the traditional ways, right? And I think that these are always generating great ideas, great opportunities for both of the company and you too.
Arlena, anything to add from your side? Where do you collaborate? Which industries do you look at, and which industries would affect the future of your business? And the next question already, do you have any best practices and, of course, especially any worst practices in collaboration that we can learn from for the future?
So when it comes to collaboration with competitors, I mean, Polestar is a car brand that is partially owned by Volvo Cars and partly from Geely. And Geely is owning many other brands. So we are born in an atmosphere where collaboration with competitors and partners is day to day. And I think it is also a healthy environment to be in, because if you don't evolve, you dissolve. So being always on your feet and ready to run is really the survival mode for industries today. And I also agree with both Andrea and Qiong, the importance of the diversity, inclusion leading to innovation, securing that you have collaboration on every level in your organization, and also, as Qiong mentioned, to also interact with the startup community is key, I would say.
Do you have any best practices, any worst practices, any advice on how to collaborate with startups? It's obviously different cultures that come together. What's your experience on that?
I think Andrea mentioned that also. It's important to have a core value. What is the reason for collaboration for us? What is it we want to achieve? And then be open, not to exclude too much, because you need to understand with our core value, what are our ambitions, what do we want to reach as a result? Do we really have that scale representing the project team? So you stay open and inclusive.
Mm-hmm. Andrea, your perspective on it. Your best practices that I'm still waiting for worst practices, which we can learn from, obviously, not just for the sake of entertainment, but these are the best learning cases. Yeah, there's a saying, you either succeed or you learn, and the learning part we want to hear about.
So for us, I mean, we are, as AVL's department, we are kind of a startup within a big company, which is for us also quite a challenge, because we need to work kind of in a startup fashion, but we need to cope with the structures of a big company, which is really kind of a challenge for us. So for us, it's also important to partner with startups, because there we can get new ideas, they can work much quicker, we can get input from them, so it helps us to come up with innovation quite fast. Mm-hmm. Of course, as I mentioned, it's a challenge for us sometimes to be fast enough, so startups often tend to be much faster than we can be, so we failed from time to time, actually, in the communication also with startups, because for us it's much more challenging to be that fast, actually.
Yeah, you could say you failed, but actually you learned from the future, probably.
Exactly.
And is it fixable? Can you take these learnings and do it better in the future? Yeah,
I think so. So for us, there was a lot of learnings, how we set up this kind of project, how we need to define it in order to succeed, because we also learned how startups are working. So this was a quite important input for us as well. So there are a lot of learnings, but also how we need to set up the collaborations to make them really efficient and effective. So clear goal setting, also reserving some time for doing this in a good way. So these are all the things that we really learned from this kind of failure project.
Qiong, from your part.
Yeah, so I would talk about from my perspective, right? And I've been working, in the auto industry for 28 years, and I'm very passionate about the innovation technology. But in the end, everything I have done and the team that I've led is always about how to really apply it and commercialize it. In the end, it's great. Innovation is every day, everywhere. But how do you turn it into a dollar sign? And today I'm responsible for $1.3 billion business, the profitability as well. And, I like to actually getting the innovation idea. And the key is setting up the goal. As you, Andrea, you mentioned about, it's so important setting up the right goal. And the acceleration, it has to have a time. You have to do a quick check and look at the result, how to move on, how to actually modify what your goal is, and how to. Otherwise, you can become a science project and not getting anywhere. So this is really, to me, is and how to really bring the innovation idea to connect with the business to really accelerate the success and commercialize it. And you see it, every day, because right now is the great transformation of this automotive industry. Looking at all these successful company, whether it's a Tesla, whether it's a NIO, XPeng, everywhere. And today, VW is actually investing $700 million into XPeng, you never heard about this name. And Stellantis 2 weeks ago just putting 1.5 billion euros into another company called Leap Motor and introduced their EV into the Europe market. So these is what the collaboration is happening. And you would never see it 20 years ago or even 10 years ago.
Yeah. At the same time, let's take AVL as an example. Super successful company in your core business. And the core businesses in the industry have been driven by protecting your IP, protecting your knowledge, not sharing it. Doing fantastic work because you are global market leader on that. Now you have to transform the culture of opening up, of sharing things, including startups, including cross-industry know-how, including even your competitors. Mm-hmm. How do you actually manage to pursue this culture in your company, to take all the employees that you have on this journey, which I have strong empathy for, that it's not easy? Do you have any advice on that?
Yeah, it's not easy, especially because we work differently than other departments do in AVL. That's true, because they are more from the traditional automotive industry, most of them at least. We need to focus a bit more on collaboration, but I think for my team especially, it's really important that we have a clear goal setting, that we know what we want to achieve. We need to have transparency, a lot of communication. So I also try to get a lot of feedback from my team, what is working good, what is not working so good, where they see challenges also within the company. So that sometimes there are processes or structures which does not really help us to be more collaborative or to share things with others. So if we identify these kind of things, if we see them fast enough, so we can react on that, we can find countermeasures. So we can change things also in the company, because it's not bad how the company is working. This is working fine for other departments, for other industries. For us, sometimes it doesn't help. So we just need to bring this feedback all in the company, try to change certain things, and set up things in a way where we can foster collaboration with others in a good way.
And obviously, it cannot happen over the weekend. So it's a process. And Qiong and also Arlena, what do you see on the market? Maybe on other players, is it an issue to open up, or is it kind of a industry standard in the meantime?
Yeah. I would say it's good maybe if we just refer to the Polestar Zero project we discussed today. The partners that we have on board in the Polestar Zero project have also agreed that the impact with us keeping IP would really be low. If we are to really make a climate change, then sharing is the only way forward. And that is our moonshot goal, to really be able not only impact the automotive industry, but that this will bring rings to the water to the society and the world. So if it can be implemented in the interior, in the car, it can also be implemented in your living room, in your sofa, So to scale is really the key.
Yeah, so I might have a little bit of different opinion, and I certainly, advocate for open innovation, right? In the end, there is always, you have to play by rule, and there will be actually certain IP you have to actually, at the beginning to manage, to agree upon, because, even you can use the technology, doesn't mean everything is open, on all the IPs, and a company will always owning their IP. And otherwise, how do you compete how do you differentiate? You got to have technology, and IP is a part of your asset, and the most important asset. So I do see they are not a conflict with each other, and to me, it's a compromise with each other. You need to have your own IP, but you also need to share certain things. You can actually provide the technology, the product, but don't necessarily to everything, the ingredients in that as well. So just from my perspective.
No, it's a good point. Let's discuss it a bit further. So where does actually the collaboration end? Where are spaces of collaboration, and where is it necessary also to close the door? We have to be transparent about this question as well, because I don't want to create a feeling that we say, everything is just open for everyone now. So what's your opinion on that? Where does the collaboration end? Is it when it comes to IP? Is it when it comes to competitors?
It's in the end, it's a business decision. It's a business decision of what you see the level that you're comfortable with. And I will use an example of battery company, right? They are collaborating everywhere with the OEMs, but do they really giving all the battery, what their anode, the cathode, their ingredient to people? No, I hell no. And they will be establishing, the process. You can share, you can build the plan together. But those are the things I think, you have to make decision based on the business that you know the best. Same thing with the startup, right? You actually create your IP, and you wanted to make sure how you actually using the license, or you provide a product, or you selling your IP and I whatever you want to do, which is work for you, and that's how I see it. So there is no one, fit everything.
I agree. So
I think the dimension that is important to bring here is business is, of course, that is how you survive your company, but without collaboration and openness, you will not be there for long. So it is about together being a player in the playground you're at. When I said that we are sharing IP to be able to, there is always a price on that, but you can't put a price that no one can afford because the impact will then be zero. So it is about playing it fair and also being part of the society and taking responsibility in the society we are in, depending on which future we want to create for the society we are in. I mean, if you have an IP that can secure safety and zero accidents in the future, of course, the responsible thing is to share that IP to a reasonable price where the industry can afford to implement this and eliminate accidents. So it is always about the balance, impact and business.
Andrea.
So I agree, it's always a business decision and everyone it needs to be a win-win situation for everyone, basically. So I think that's the important thing. And as I see this example from Deep scenario over there, in our field, for AD validation, you need to understand what's happening in the real world. No one can do this alone. So you need to collect a lot of data, you need to extract information out of it. Basically, you need to do it globally. So if you want to deploy your vehicles all over the world, you need to understand really what's happening in the single countries. You need to understand traffic rules and things like that. So no one can do it alone. There will be always technologies like the deep scenario technology, for example, which is extracting information from camera images and trying to make use of this information. But then there is maybe the next part in the chain, which is really trying to generate meaningful test cases out of this information. And then there is someone who is providing a simulation environment or other kind of test environment. So it's a really complex problem, and there are a lot of single sub-problems, I would say. So there is space for a lot of companies to make business at the end, but only if we do it together and if we see how we can work together and solve this huge problem together, then everyone can make business out of that, basically.
I think this is a very important point, as we discussed as well over coffee. It seems to be a huge opportunity arising in the transition, in the transformation. Obviously, we have to move, we have to do it, we have to collaborate, but there are so many problems that need to be solved that will open so many opportunities. So is that a super bright future for the industry, actually?
Yeah, I absolutely see that. I see all the collaboration, from transportation, market with the energy storage, with the digital, the service, and really the software, becomes such a incredible revenue generation, right? And it's unlimited. You can look at the hardware is always defined, by actually you can see, you can touch, you can feel. And when software, you can adding these features as you over the air, turn on, these different features, and you can update it over the air. And it's a huge opportunity there to me.
As you mentioned, the car, I think you said, is becoming a smart device, not only a means of transportation from A to B. So let's take this topic for our last session. And Andrea, you said we have to know what's happening in the real world. And obviously we cannot completely ignore that AI is happening in the real world, that the cars are becoming smart vehicles, that we have collaborations, and now we have AI as well as a part of the ecosystem. To which extent is this a game changer? What will the effect be of AI in the ecosystem of innovation, sustainability, and collaboration?
So I think it will be a big game changer because there is a lot of data. So we have the possibility to collect a lot more data, to handle the data. So you can make use of the data. And so in the last years, a lot of technology evolved where you can fastly generate basically everything. So there will be a lot of new business models, a lot of new innovations based on these technologies. But I think we also need to distinguish a bit, let's say, consumer electronics really the vehicle specific parts, because there is also AI in the vehicle. And we do a lot on perception, for example, to really understand the environment. But there we are going in a direction where it's getting safety critical. So we are really depending on the validity of the decisions that are making based on this information. Mm-hmm. And there we still have a lot of challenges ahead. So we really need to distinguish things which provide value, of course, for the customer, but which are not safety critical. So that's, if there is a problem, okay, we can live with that. We know that ChatGPT, for example, does not always provide correct results, but we can cope with it. In a safety critical environment where the AI is really taking decisions and your life is depending on it, you might think differently about that. So there, I think we need to distinguish these two parts. In both, AI has a lot of, or let's say we can use it a lot. We can make a lot out of it, but we need to distinguish it and need to take care that we consider it differently, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sure. So I agree with Andrea, your view. From the product standpoint of view, AI, I think, there is a different level of the safety requirements. So for safety critical ones, it's not mature ready yet. So certainly there is a lot more development need to be happening. And there is a lot of information, entertainment related, which you're using a lot of cloud information, which can actually utilize more these AI, just like you would use your smartphone and whatever, right? So that's more from the product standpoint of view. But the other thing is my company, we do use quite a bit is using the AI technology for the development, which means we actually, build a digital twin, and that they are not just using data to operating the activity, but they are building the intelligence and learning machine and doing the analysis. And so the development part of those, to me, is very important. And also the process, manufacturing, you can have AI because you're learning all the quality issue, the process manufacturing issue, you can build into how become a better automation, better production, the facility, and improve the quality. So once again, AI is just not about a product itself, and it's also about the process you develop and the manufacturing your product. And the other thing is, as a product, one of the things I am very sure you also aware of it is a lot of cyber attack, right? The more you have a connection, vehicle to vehicle, vehicle to infrastructure, what happens? Sometimes just the simple things, it can shut down everything in your vehicle. And that's a threat. And that can become a huge threat. And I mean, it can create your traffic is a completely chaos. You don't want that to happen. So these are the things, the industry, I would tell you, everybody, I'm sure Arlena, being the OEM, they are, right, on that front end to make sure these new technology, we gotta foster and we gotta actually use it, but also we have to be careful not to actually create the damage too, because there is always, as you said, risk versus opportunity, right? In the end, the business have to make the smart decision.
Arlena, what's your take on that? And obviously, I think you mentioned an important point, the security, cybersecurity will be an issue that we can only solve via collaboration, because we cannot build the same expertise as others who wouldn't focus only on that problem. Arlena, what's your take on that?
Again, when I listen to Andrea and Qiong, it takes me back to, again, what impact do we want to create with artificial intelligence or autonomous drive solutions or digital twins? I mean, technologies are out there, but I think the great challenge for us within engineering and science is to understand where these technologies can best support humanity. I think there is a huge risk if we see business within autonomous drive, but we implement things earlier than safety is in place. So I think it is important in the industry to really stay responsible and to understand what is the impact we want to bring to the table with new technologies.
Exciting times ahead. I'd like to finish with a general topic maybe, but that affects us all and you all. What kind of leadership, what kind of mindset do we need in the future in order to be able to live this culture, to collaborate, to use the technology for the better of our company, and by doing that also of the ecosystem to drive the innovation further. What kind of leadership, what kind of mindset is necessary? What do you think?
I think one topic is leadership by example. So you also need to have this open mindset, show this to your team. Second thing is transparency. I think everyone needs to know exactly what's happening. Also, if we are in a kind of transformation process, which we are in, obviously, it's really important that we are transparent, that everyone knows what is happening, where we are going. So we have to have this common goal, and I think these kind of mindsets are really important to, have people with you and keep them engaged in this process as well. I think these are the most important things for me, at least.
Arlena, for you?
I think, as we discussed today during these sessions, collaboration is really the new leadership. I think the world needs leaders that are more humble and that complement the team and get complemented by the team members. So openness and transparency and situation adapted leadership, I think, is really key for the future.
Fantastic. Qiong, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I completely agree with the other two ladies about the mindset. It's important that is really the foundation, as open, as transparent and collaboration. And also, I think, the speed is very important in this world. And really, setting up the right process and always monitor the progress and set up the right goal and continue doing the fine-tuning, calibrating, and so we can reach it out, the common goal together. And I think in the end, everybody really count. In order to be sustainable for the society, each of us, it doesn't matter. It's about a vehicle, transportation, about the software design, about the hardware. And you do it every day, you demonstrate it. And with that right mindset, I believe the industry will go to the right place.
What a fantastic ending of this panel. Please, big round of applause for our panelists. Thank you. And it's fantastic to see that the three of you are those leaders that we need for the future, and obviously with many, many more. And thank you for those insights. I learned a lot. And I'm excited about the future of the industry and obviously of the world as well. So keep innovating, keep collaborating, and in sustainable way, then we'll all profit from that. Thank you again. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
That was our Creators Lounge, and I'd like to invite again somebody from Creators Expedition team to join us to help me close this event. Lisbora Likai, come on stage. Big round of applause for you as well. The microphone is coming. What do you think? What's your impression? What are your takeaways? Maybe some key learnings.
Very inspiring panel discussion from Arlena, Andrea, and Qiong. It was very nice to hear all of the different perspectives from different companies, but still coming to the same conclusion that collaboration is the key. And I think collaboration was also the most used word today. And as you mentioned, our motto is also collaborate to innovate. This is what we stand for as Creators Expedition. And maybe, yes, for everyone also joining online and watching the video online, and everybody here, for us, one of the main reasons why we do Creators Lounge, but also one of the main goals of Creators Expedition is really to bring different actors from the automotive ecosystem, but not only believe in collaboration, believe in collaboration to innovation. So we would really appreciate if you share, spread the word about what we are doing. Yes, I think, as we mentioned, collaboration is the key, and that's what we're trying to do today with all of the startups here, with all of the speakers. Yep, it was really great. Yeah, great panel discussion.
Days like this. So thank you for that. And obviously we will now close the Creators Lounge, but the demo day in Graz is going on. Many startups, maybe give us some insights on that as well.
So we have 10 startups here today in Graz. They are from different backgrounds, from different countries from Europe. We will have today whole day tours from from different people from AVL, our management, go through every startup and see what are we doing with AVL. For us, it's very important that everybody is aligned. We have a lot of projects going on within Creators Expedition, and we want everyone here in the audience, everyone at AVL, but also people joining online to see what are we specifically working on. I think it's a great job that the startups and AVL are doing together, and it breaks the boundary as well. Collaboration is the key.
Perfect. Dear guests, dear audience online, that was the AVL Creators Lounge, this time from Graz, from the headquarters. It was a pleasure to be with you, and I hope to see you again in the next Creators Lounge. Thank you and goodbye.